Hi everyone! This week's First Chapter Friday is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. We will start with the description. Amari Peters has never stopped believing her missing brother Quentin is alive. Not even when the police told her otherwise, or when she got in trouble for standing up to bullies who said he was gone for good. So when she finds a ticking briefcase in his closet containing a nomination for a summer tryout at the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs, she's certain the secretive organization holds the key to locating Quentin. If only she can wrap her head around the idea of magicians, fairies, aliens, and other supernatural creatures being real. Now she must compete for a spot against kids who've known about magic their whole lives. No matter how hard she tries, Amari can't seem to escape their intense scrutiny and doubt, especially once her own supernaturally enhanced talent is deemed illegal. With an evil magician threatening the supernatural world and her classmates thinking she's an enemy, Amari has never felt more alone. But if she doesn't stick it out and pass the tryouts, she may never find out what happened to Quentin. Chapter 1. I'm sitting in the principal's office, again. In the hallway, on the other side of the glass door, Principal Merritt is getting an earful from Emily Grant's mom. With all of those wild hand gestures, you'd think I did a lot more than give her stuck-up Little Miss Princess daughter a tiny shove. Emily got in my face, not the other way around. It wasn't my fault she lost her balance and fell on her butt in front of everybody. Emily stands behind her mom, surrounded by her squad. They cover their mouths and whisper, eyeing me through the door like they can't wait to catch me alone. I lean back in my chair out of view. You've really done it this time, Amari. I glance up at the picture of the brown-skinned boy on the wall behind Principal Merritt's desk and frown. Quentin proudly holds up the trophy he won in the state math competition. You can't see it, but me and Mama are just off stage cheering him on. There's not much to cheer about anymore. The door swings open and Mrs. Grant stalks in, followed by Emily. Neither makes eye contact as they settle into chairs farthest from me. Their dislike for me seems to fill up the whole office. I frown and cross my arms. The feeling is mutual. Then comes Mama in her blue hospital scrubs. She got called away from work because of me, again. I sit up in my chair to plead my case, but she shoots me a look that kills the words in my throat. Principal Merritt takes his seat last, his weary eyes moving between us. I know there's history between you two girls, but seeing as it is the last day of school, I want that girl's scholarship revoked. Mrs. Grant explodes. I don't pay what I pay in tuition to have my daughter assaulted in the hallways. Assaulted? I start, but Mama raises her hand to cut me off. Amari knows better than to put her hands on other people, says Mama. But this has been a long time coming. Those girls have harassed my daughter since she first set foot on this campus. The messages they left on her social media pages were so ugly we considered deleting her accounts. And we addressed that matter as soon as it was brought to our attention, says Principal Merritt. All 4 girls received written warnings. And how about the stuff they say to my face? I lean forward in my chair, face burning. They call me charity case and free lunch and remind me every chance they get that kids like me don't belong here. Because you don't, says Emily. Quiet, Mrs. Grant snaps. Emily rolls her eyes. Mrs. Grant stands, turning her attention to Mama. I'll have a talk with my daughter about her behavior, but your daughter got physical. I could press charges. Be thankful this is as far as I am taking it. Mama bristles but bites her tongue. I wonder if it's because Emily's mom is right about pressing charges. Practically the whole school saw. Up, says Mrs. Grant to her daughter, and they head for the door. Mrs. Grant stops short and looks back at us. I expect to be notified the moment her scholarship is revoked, or the Parents Association will have a lot to say at the next meeting. The door slams behind them. I can barely sit still, I'm so mad. This is all so unfair. People like Emily and Mrs. Grant will never understand what it's like to not have money. They can do whatever they want with no consequences, while the rest of us have to watch our every step. Are you really taking away Amari's scholarship? Mama asks in a small voice. Principal Merritt drops his eyes. We have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to physical altercations. School rules dictate that she be expelled. Taking her scholarship is the smallest punishment I can offer. I see. Mama sinks into her chair. My anger melts into shame. Mama's already sad because of Quentin. I shouldn't be adding to her troubles just because I can't handle a few bullies. I know it's been difficult, says Principal Merritt to me since Quentin's disappearance. He was a great kid with a truly bright future. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to connect the dots between that incident and the start of your behavior problems, Amari. I can arrange for you to talk to a counselor free of charge. I don't need a counselor, I interrupt. Principal Merritt frowns. You should talk to someone about your anger. You want to know why I shoved Emily? It's because she thought it was funny to joke that my brother is dead. But he isn't. I don't care what anyone says. He's out there somewhere, and when I find him, I will show you all. I'm shaking, tears streaming down my face. Principal Merritt doesn't say anything. Mama stands up slowly and pulls me into her arms. Go to the car, baby girl. I'll finish here. We ride home in silence. It's been almost 6 months since Quentin went missing, but it doesn't feel like that long. Seems like just the other day he was calling Mama's phone to say he'd be home for Christmas. It was a big deal because Quentin was always gone once he got that fancy job after school. The kind where you can't tell anybody what you do? I used to swear up and down that Quentin was some super secret spy like James Bond, but he would just give me this little smirk and say, "You're wrong, but you're not totally wrong." Whenever I tried to get more out of him, he'd just laugh and promise to tell me when I was older. See, Quentin was smart. He graduated valedictorian from Jefferson Academy and got a full scholarship offers from 2 Ivy League schools. He turned them both down to work for whoever he's working for. When he went missing, I was sure his secret job had something to do with it, or at least that somebody who worked with him might know what happened. But when we told the detectives about his job, they just looked at me and Mama like we were crazy. They had the nerve to tell us that, as far as they could tell, Quentin was unemployed. That there was no tax records to indicate that he had ever had a job of any kind. But that just didn't make any sense. He'd never lie about something like that. When Mama told him he used to send money home to help out with the bills, the detective suggested that Quentin might be involved in something he didn't want us to know about. Something illegal. That's always what people think when you came from the wood, aka the Rosewood Low-Income Housing Projects. The car rattles as we pass over the railroad tracks, letting me know that we're in my neighborhood now. I'm not going to lie. It feels different coming back here after being on the other side of town. It's like the world is brighter around Jefferson Academy and all those big, colorful houses that surround it. Where I'm from feels gray in comparison. We pass liquor stores and pawn shops, and I see D-boys leaning up against street signs, mean mugging like they own the whole world. Jaden, a boy I knew in elementary school, stands with a bunch of older boys, a big gold chain around his neck. He recognizes the car and shoots me a grin as we pass. I try to smile back, but I don't know if it's convincing. We haven't spoken since Quentin went missing, not since he started hanging with the guys he promised my brother he'd stay away from. Once we pull up in front of our apartment building, Mama buries her face in her hands and cries. Are you okay? I ask. I feel like I'm failing you, baby girl. I work 12-hour shifts 5 days a week. You should have somebody around you can talk to. I'm fine. I know you only work so much because you have to. Mama shakes her head. I don't want you to have to struggle like I do. That scholarship to Jefferson Academy was your ticket to a good college, a better life. Lord knows I can't afford to send you to a place like that on my own. I don't know what we're supposed to do now. I'm sorry, but I never fit in that place. I crossed my arms and turned to look out the window. Just because my brother made it look so easy doesn't mean that I can too. I'm not Quentin. I'm not asking you to be your brother, says Mama. I'm just asking that you try. That school was an opportunity for you to see that there's a big, wide world outside this neighborhood, a chance to broaden your horizons. She sighs. I know it's unfair, but the truth is that when you're a poor black girl from the wood, certain people are going to already have it in their minds what type of person you are. You can't give them a reason to think that they're right. I don't respond. She acts like this isn't something she's already told me a million times. If you're not acting up in school, says Mama, then you're sitting in front of that computer for hours. It's not healthy, Amari. I mean, I know she's right, but it's hard to concentrate on schoolwork when you can hear other kids whispering about you. And posting photos of Quentin on as many websites as I can lets me feel like I'm helping with the search. I know it's a long shot, but it gives me hope. Mama continues. When you get inside, I want you to slide that laptop under my door and leave it there. But Mama, she waves her hand. I don't want to hear it. Until you decide to take your future more seriously, that computer stays with me. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. I've got to get back to the hospital. I slam the car door after I get out, and I don't look back once I stomp toward our building. What am I supposed to do now? Once I'm inside the apartment, I fall over into the couch and bury my head in the pillows. This has been the worst day. Finally, with a groan, I pull myself up into a sitting position and grab my old beat-up laptop from my book bag. Quentin won it after placing second at some international science fair forever ago. He gave it to me after he won a better one last year. I am not even surprised when the screen stays black after I open it. I open it and close it a few times, but it still won't work. Clearly, it's in one of his moods. I set it down and head to the kitchen to get myself some food. Except, even after I've calmed my grumbling belly, the laptop still won't turn on. I close my eyes and bring it up to my forehead. Mama says I've got to give you up, and there's no telling when she'll give you back. Please work. This time, it powers right up. Thank goodness. The free neighborhood Wi-Fi is super slow, but I'm still able to copy and paste Quentin's missing persons poster onto a dozen websites. Normally, I'd check his email next. I figured out his passwords months ago. Amari Amazing, my fake superhero name from way back. But my curiosity gets the best of me, and I pull up Emily Grant's Instagram page to see if she posted anything about today. And what do I find? A photo of me on her profile with the caption, "Summer break, and guess what? We finally took out the trash at Jefferson, expelled." The post has a ton of comments from other students. I only read a few before I slam the laptop shut. Never wanted her here. I heard she used to steal from the lockers. All it took was her dumb brother to drop dead. I didn't get expelled. And my brother isn't dead. Jaw clenched, I open my laptop again to write a reply to shut them all up. And a notification appears at the top of the screen, and my whole body goes stiff. It is a new email for Quentin. One new email from Discreet Deliveries. Which may not sound like a lot, but Quentin never gets new emails. Ever. I've been checking since the day I figured out his password. I open the email. Package delivered. You shall receive a separate email once Amari Peters has signed as requested. Thanks for using Discreet Delivery Service, where they get what's coming to them, whether they know it or not. This email will self-destruct in 3, 2, 1. The email vanishes. I jump in surprise. Did that email really just... And what am I supposed to sign? A knock sounds at the front door. Delivery! This is the first in a series of books, so we first get to learn about Amari and what happens to Quentin, and then it goes off into a whole separate set of stories. So it is available, typically shelved in the fantasy section. So if you would like to check it out, come check out my fantasy section in the library.